Good morning and welcome to the show. The topic this morning is Buddies of Nashville, and we have two representatives of Buddies of Nashville with us this morning to talk about some of the planned activities and some of the current activities that the Buddies of Nashville is involved in. And first, let me welcome you, Miss Angela Radcliffe, to this show this morning. Miss Radcliffe is the executive director, I'm sorry, not the executive director, but the communications director for Buddies of Nashville. And of course, Mr. Rufus Stanton is a big buddy in the Buddies of Nashville. And Mr. Stanton, let me also welcome you to the show this morning. Ms. Radcliffe, when we talk about Buddies of Nashville, a number of people are confused in reference to exactly what this organization is about. Why don't you take the first minute or so to give us an overview, a history, if you will, of the Buddies of Nashville, and then we'll talk to Mr. Stanton.
All right. Buddies of Nashville is an affiliate of Big Brothers Big Sisters of America, which is nationwide, over 400 affiliates involved in this system. And we're also a member of United Way of Middle Tennessee. Buddies of Nashville was founded by the Junior Chamber in 1969. So we've been here in Nashville for the past 20+ years. And our basic mission is to encourage children from single-parent homes to get involved in our program through their parent. And we look at children 6 to 12 years old. We look for role models to interface with those children to match, if you will, a child with a big brother or a big sister, or we also have couples matches. And this is what we're about. We're about involving role models that come in a wide variety with our children in order to empower them, children from single-parent homes, to be the best that they can be by making sure that we make a win-win situation out of a match that agrees to 3 to 4 hours a week and a year's commitment to a child. Very good.
Now, Mr. Stanton, I think that you serve as one of the big brothers and sort of represent everything that Ms. Radcliffe has mentioned in reference to Buddies of Nashville. Why don't you say something about your previous experiences and what made you interested in becoming involved with Buddies of Nashville?
Primarily, it stems from, my upbringing, with my older brothers and my mom, and I guess that kind of stems indirectly from my father. He died when I was 6 years old, but his accomplishments and his approach to life kind of rubbed off on my older brothers, and so they kind of chipped in with my mom to, help us out. And, after they graduated from high school and left home, they would, get directly involved with our discipline. They would help out with our financial situation by sending my mom money. They would also bring us up to Chicago. Actually, one of them was a foreman at a plant in Chicago, and he would bring me up during the summertime and allow me to work, in his shop, whatever was available, sweeping the floors or whatever was necessary, and teach me a little bit about working, about earning my money, and also about, saving and investing that money. I mean, he went as far as to take me to the bank to open checking accounts and things of that sort.
Very good. And so we also understand that you're also involved in an occupation. Why don't you give us some information relative to that occupation that you're involved in, because you serve as a role model primarily through that occupation.
Okay, my primary occupation is I work for HCA in data processing, but I have a sideline in the summertime where I operate a lawn service, and I bring my nephews down from up north during the summer, during their summer break, and have them work with me in my lawn service, and give them a chance to make some money, give me a chance to hopefully rub off on them a little bit. We talk about everything from drugs to schoolwork to respect for parents. The whole smear. We cover everything during those, those summers. And at the same time, it gives them a chance, like I said, to make some money and to help their parent out with, with some of their expenses and things along that line.
Very good. Ms. Radcliffe, how representative is he in terms of the people who volunteer to become members of the Big Brothers?
I'm glad you brought that up, Mr. Haney, because Buddies of Nashville has a high profile in the community, but the profile that's there, that is an agency where males access more than likely white males. So what our mission is, part of our mission through the Minority Task Force, is to bring more African American males like Rufus into the program. We have 15 strong in that program, but we also have about 50 children, African American boys, waiting to be matched. Rufus is, if you will, typical of the kind of African American male in our program. Our males come from all walks of life, and we want to drive that home today, that a role model is the substance of good things involved in a person who has good value, who has a good value system. It's not about whether you live on 2108 Hermosa Street where my mama lives, or whether you live at 1000 Bellmead Boulevard. It's the fact that you have within you the ability to recycle yourself into the community and make a difference. From that end, our African American males match this prototype, if you will, of Rufus Stanton, and we're very proud of that. And Rufus can speak to the fact of how he was able to go through our process and be matched. And I'd like for Rufus to say that Buddies is, screens volunteers as they come into the office, and it can be intimidating to some, but I'd like for him to share with you how he got to that point.
Yeah, the screening process, it's, you know, it's pretty intense, I would say. It's, you know, the matches are well screened, both the little buddy and the big buddy, to match personalities. Number one, say my little buddy loves sports. I like sports a lot. So, you know, that's just one example, but they try to match you personality-wise. Plus, they do an extensive background check on the big buddies, you know, as far as, I mean, even checking your police record and things along that line. And it gets pretty drawn out. It takes a while, you know, to get through the screening process. And sometimes potential big buddies may get discouraged during that screening process. But the thing is that if you're really concerned about our kids, you know, if you're genuinely concerned, that's not a problem. In fact, you encourage that, because you definitely want to make sure that when you match an adult with a child, you make sure that that child's interest is protected and that that person is actually there for that child's interest, you know, and he's there to serve the best interest of that kid. You know, that's what Buddies is all about. So the screening process, you know, it's, like I said, it's extensive, but it's for a worthwhile cause. I can't think of a more worthwhile cause. So, you know, it's not an inconvenience for somebody who's really concerned.
Very good. This is, excuse me, this is also a United Way agency, is it not?
Yes, it is.
And it means that you've got a board of directors, and I think I introduced you as the executive director just a minute ago, meaning the communications
I believe we
director.
need to tell Mike Survey that.
but within that framework, why don't you say something about the method of support and about the board of directors, I mean, the people that are involved in this project, and talk about the minority task force out of that.
Buddies of Nashville is governed by a board of directors. Mike Survey is the executive director. We have approximately 20+ members on our board of directors. We have looked at our board of directors to make sure that we have subcommittees. And because Buddies of Nashville services all children from both ends of the spectrum, white, African American, and all in between, we have to make sure that our mission is taken to the streets. So we have a female services task force that's part of the board, a subcommittee where we look at bringing in more moms into the program in order to donate their daughters so that they realize that there are big sisters waiting for them. We also have an agency services committee that looks at the overall program of Buddies to make sure that we're still on top of things. We also have a minority task force that's looking at bringing in more African American men like Rufus Stanton into the program, as well as African American women. We have a committee that looks at human resources, and this committee makes sure that we have the kind of professional clientele that is needed for the job. I like to point out the fact that I'm African American and I'm director of communications and volunteer coordination. 2 of our social workers are also African American females, and one that we will be hiring soon is an African American female. So when you talk about cultural sensitivity of children that are coming into our program and making sure that their needs are met, we can do this. We can serve as gatekeepers for those kids. I feel real good about the working body of the board of directors because they're filled with those persons who have a direct impact on our program. I'd like to also share with you that James Burton, who works at Tennessee State University, has been with Buddies of Nashville for the past 14 years. He has been a big brother with our program.